talk what others won't be talking about. Listen to us now, this mind's been filled in thoughtful round. We've got to let it out, we've got to let it go. Just wanna let you know.
What's good, y'all? Welcome to the very first episode of Plateful Parlay. I'm your host, Finesse.
And I'm Sam.
We both previously had podcasts of our own, and we decided two is better than one. So we decided to come together and do one podcast together anyway, because we talk around the house all the time about topics that I believe and we both believe that are worth hearing, worth listening to. So we hope you enjoy.
So today, we're just gonna have a little intro into, what we'll be speaking on, and we'll also talk about, how we met. So be a little open here. Okay. We'd appreciate it.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
So some of the topics that we'll be discussing on this podcast may stem into like politics, spirituality,
Just like, LGBTQ issues, just
yeah.
world issues, period, because it's a reflection of our conversations on a day-to-day basis,
Yeah.
which is everything.
We can talk about everything.
Everything.
Important, funny, whatever, We'll try to stray, away from like some of the bullshit ass topics that people decide to we're not here for that.
Like the dumbass shit.
Like
No,
that.
we're not doing that.
We're not here for that. We want to be we want to be refreshing, we want to the podcast space and provide a different perspective on topics that actually matter. Stuff that y'all actually give a fuck about. Not men versus women and all that dumbass shit that we don't talk about.
And really just like educate and like challenge.
Mm.
Just challenge your beliefs. Challenge, what you've been taught.
For those of you who don't know, my name is Finesse. Like I already previously introduced myself. I am a writer, author, YouTuber, overall creative. I do have my own YouTube channel. I'll link it below in the description. I feel like my main goal with this podcast, from me and for us as a couple, is to just raise the consciousness of the collective, which is who tune in. I feel like we talk about a lot of diverse topics that are important, and I hope that even if we don't spark everybody's brain, that we spark at least one person's brain to, like she said, challenge your beliefs and choose to think in a way that's more constructive for you. So yeah, I'm Finesse.
What she said. And like I said earlier, I'm Tab. I'm your other host. I am a human being. I am Groot. No, I'm not Groot. I'm a person that likes to experience life, just like all the different facets of life that I can. I love to learn. I would consider myself a creative. I'm just one of those people that just likes to pick up on skills and dive into different things and learn new things like all the time. I like doing different shit, period. What am I doing now? I'm in a season of figuring that out. I'm trying to figure out, what my path is, what's the next path I'll be taking, what's my purpose, all that good stuff. It's a pivotal period of time for me right now. So that is I.
Yay, Tab.
Woohoo.
All right, y'all. So now we're gonna get into the nitty gritty. The not
really nitty.
It's not really crazy, but how we met. You know what I mean? How did this come about? How did we link? You know what I'm saying?
How did we meet?
Link, meet, encounter each other.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I guess I'll start off with my perspective, what I like, kind of what headspace I was in prior to. I won't go into too many details, but start off with
where you were at
before I met her. So before I met her, a couple months prior, not a couple months prior, like 6 months prior, I went through a breakup. No, there I go through a breakup. I went through a betrayal. I'm not gonna go down details of what happened with that. Not in this episode. So I was in a space of just like feeling lost, feeling like I needed to go through a rebirth. I need to figure out who I was outside of being connected to another person. I didn't. I won't say I no longer ever wanted to be connected to another person, but I knew right there in the space that I was in that I did not want to in that moment. I didn't think for a couple years that I even would be interested in somebody else. Like we found people attractive here and there. It is what it is. But I wasn't even like I wasn't lusting after nobody. I I I did not care to I didn't care to connect with nobody, man. I didn't care to indulge in that. What I did was, I got into the gym. I started focusing on myself. I got into therapy. Um, I was in a space of just trying to transform myself, putting like my life back into my own hands. And the last thing on my mind was a woman. I was not thinking about anybody. But yeah, you could tell them where you was at during that time period.
Um, yeah, so for me, mentally where I was at when we met, I guess right before we met, I'll say that I was in healing. I feel like I've been in a process of healing. I'm still healing to this day. It's kind of almost like a never ending thing.
Mm.
But, there's levels and layers to it. And where I was at, you know, recently before we met, I would say I was kind of just like I wasn't doing bad. I wasn't doing like great mentally. I was kind of just my main focus was really in trying to get stability. That was really where I was at, like trying to get financial stability. I want to add in the fact that I was in therapy at the time. I had been in therapy at that point for for a year and a half, by the time that time period hit. And I do also want to say that, like, I was going through a lot of emotional healing, specifically from those previous situations, previous relationship, previous situation that I had been dealt with. Um, so that was part of the mindset then, but it was just that financial stability was just like my number one priority. But I was still healing and working on myself in those arenas. That's where my mind was at. I wasn't interested in trying to get in a relationship maybe ever again. I was like, I think I might be done with that forever. I kind of teeter back and forth. I'm like, maybe one day, years from now. That's where I was at with that. I did, like, also a couple months before we met, I started, flirting. I'd never been the flirty type. And so I'm like, you know what? Why not? Get a little flirting in, flirt with, like, a couple of different women. Um, but that was really the extent of it. I wasn't really trying to get with nobody or none of that. I was just trying to be financially, I
Mm.
was trying to get to a better position in life financially than where I was at.
As you can see, and as you can hear, we both were in positions in our life where we were just trying to heal, or we were just trying to focus on ourselves. You know what I mean? Neither one of us was thinking about a relationship whatsoever. So I guess I'll start from my perspective of how this whole thing started. You cool with that?
Hmm.
Okay. Um, so as some of you, as I just mentioned before, I am a author. I have two. Ooh, shit. Excuse me. I have two published children's books. Um, and I had made a post. Um, I had got my illustrator to make a post in regards to the issues going on overseas. I don't know if this will get flagged. That's why I don't want to specifically say what it is. But I made a post about it, and I promoted that post just so that more people could see it. People see that I'm bringing awareness to the issue. And this one lady She liked it. I think you left a comment too.
I saw it because you had made it into an ad.
Yeah, I said I promoted it. Yeah.
Right. So I saw it like I was going through stories and then it just popped up on the story.
Mhm.
Like,
It's
the
on
story
Instagram.
ad on Instagram. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, because you didn't have just like one country, you were kind of like free this country,
Free
free
everybody.
this country,
You know
free
what I'm saying?
everybody. You use the characters in your book,
Yeah.
from your book,
To
to
highlight
highlight it.
those. Yeah.
And so I saw, I'm like, okay, I don't know why. It just peaked. Like, normally I usually skip through the ads. I don't really pay attention to it, but for some reason it caught my eye this time.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, okay. I went and like to her profile,
Mm-hmm.
looked at her profile, and I'm like, okay, she's an author. She writes books, and I looked at,
Let me continue my part.
oh,
Listen, fuck that. I was gonna try to be politically correct on here, but we're not gonna be politically free Palestine, bitch. Uh, sorry, I just had to get that out there. But yes, so she ended up following me. Um, not because like, she's cute, because I barely have pictures of me on there. It's mostly about my book and my books and my poems and stuff like that. Um, I went to her profile. I seen that she had like a rainbow flag in her thing, and I was like, oh, she's a fellow gay. Okay, okay, okay. But then I looked at I looked at like her first 3 pictures, and I was like, oh, she look young. I was like, ah. I was like, well, I was like, you know, I don't know. I don't know. I just felt called to follow her, so I did. And we didn't talk. We would just comment on each other's stuff here and there. I would swipe up on her story here and there, and like, 'cause she used to post like very funny like commentary. Like, she just talk about
I was
random topics.
I guess you could say like short think pieces. Like, that's kind of like I was doing.
Yeah.
I would go on Instagram, or you could just like, let's be informal. I would rant. Like, I would go on Instagram and I would rant on Instagram stories about, like, I don't know, like maybe some random thought that came into my mind,
Mm.
and I'm like, and so I spoke on it. I would speak on it, or maybe some experience that I had encountered, and how it, provoked me to think about certain things and stuff, and I would make videos about it and
Right.
post it. Sometimes it was funny. I feel like I always put a funny twist to it, but like I would do that a lot, like every
Yeah.
day.
And it wasn't just that she was funny, it was that she was intelligent. The way she conveyed certain things or talked about certain things, it just, I don't know. I thought it was very I'm very attracted to intelligence, you know what I mean? Sapiosexual. But yeah,
Yep.
like, you know what I'm saying? But I wasn't really like looking at her like that. You know what I mean? Like, I thought she was cute. You know what I mean? But I wasn't looking at her. Like, some people like, oh, I got a crush. I'm looking at her page. I'm gonna hit her up. No,
Yeah.
I mean, not yet. I mean, I feel like towards the day that we met, before we met, well, we officially introduced ourselves to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't. Something kept calling me back to her page. I don't know what it was, but something kept calling me back. And I was like, in back of my mind, I'm like, nah, I'm not doing that. I kept going back and forth with myself. I would go on her page and click off. I'm like, nah, I'm not gonna do this. I ain't got time for this. Nope, 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 nope. And I had went to. I feel like this is a crucial part, so I'm gonna mention it. I had went to a company holiday party the day before we met, and to me, that was like catalyst of like my rebirth. Because or just a new chapter period. I felt it in the air. I wore my hair different that day. I always wore my hair down, but that night I wore my hair up. I got dressed up nice, and I had a great time. I was dancing in the middle of the floor, drinking like a motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? It just felt like amazing. It felt like a new chapter had, had was upon me, and I also that night I was spending the night at a friend house or a previous friend house, and I created a Pinterest board. I kind of like, even though I kind of said I didn't want a relationship, the lover girl in me, I'm a Pisces, so the Pisces in me too, kind of, the Pisces in me kind of like was like, man, one day it'll happen, manifestation. So I put some stuff on a Pinterest board and I also made a playlist of songs that I was going to dedicate to whoever my next partner will be. The day before we we officially introduced ourselves to each other. And then and then the next day, it was like late too, it was like 10 o'clock at night. Some in my spirit, don't know what. Some in my spirit made me go to her profile one more time. And I started looking more thorough into her pictures, just skimming through. I was like, okay, okay. And I came on across this one picture. And I could, if you're watching this on YouTube, that picture is the picture that made me I'll even show y'all the DM of swipe up on her. I don't know, her eyes just like captivated me. I was like, oh my God. I was like, fuck it, fuck. I had to go against my own like fear that I had. I was like, what's the worst she can say? Because she just ignore me, and that's what it is. Move on with my life. So I swiped up on the picture and I asked her like, so like, you from Houston? Or no, how long you been in Houston? Because her bio said she was in Houston. So I brought y'all to the meeting point of where I hit her up. Now she's gonna tell her perspective from her end until I hit her up. So
Right. And when we say meet, we're again talking about in the DM
yeah.
because that's what
Instagram.
we met on Instagram DM. And yes, we had short little things, convos and things that we said to each other in
Prior to,
DMs.
yeah.
But what we're talking about is the day where we started talking and there was not.
Never stop.
We
Yeah.
just kept talking and stuff.
I'm good.
So for me, I guess I'll share some things trying to be more open.
Let's do it.
So about a week before we started, you know, uh, before we met, right? That's what I'll say. Before we met, week before we met, I was going through like my stuff. I was trying to find my high school diploma for like some job or some shit. Asked for my diploma. I find the diploma. I open up the diploma. When I open up the diploma, a picture of me and my ex falls out. Yeah. Me and this person had broken up like a year and a half prior to that. And so I see it fall out, I'll say a good chunk of my healing that year was, surrounded with that relationship, that year that we met was a year that I kind of had to take time to like heal from like two different, relationship and a situation I had been in. Not at the same time. Okay. Different times, but close together. Um, and so, when I found this, saw this picture kind of like fall out, I was just like, oh, lovely. Of course, that's the universe doing this thing. Trying to trigger me, I see. Uh get slick. But, found it, I'm like, okay, I know what I'm gonna do with this. I let myself feel whatever feelings that I felt looking at it. And then I went ahead, decided that I would burn it when I get the chance. I was working full time at the time, so I had to wait till I had time to do it.
Right.
So fast forward a week later, which is 2 days before me and her meet. 2 days before we met, I went ahead, I went to the park, took a picture with me, did a whole kind of like, like burning ritual for myself. I burned the picture at the park on a bench that I was sitting at. Was taking some time to really ride my feelings and feel myself release in certain things. Next day, I was at my altar and mind you, again, we still haven't started like talking. So this day, the next day is the day before we meet, and also the same day that you went to the
holiday party.
the holiday
So this is the day
party.
before.
So same day, we're on two different states. This is what we're both doing around the same time. That day, I went to my altar and I cried. I cried a lot. I was at the altar and I was crying. I was expressing my grievances and just how I felt like love, I don't believe in it for me. How I had gotten to the point in my life where I'm like, I just don't think this shit's real for everybody. I don't think everybody has the privilege to have a real healthy healthy
Healthy.
love, long lasting, everlasting love. I'm like, this shit just isn't real. I had gotten to the point, I'm like, this is me talking, you know, at the altar and just expressing my anger and frustration. I was very angry and just saying like, I don't fucking believe in this shit. I don't think it's for me. It's for like a select few people, you know what I'm saying, or select small group of people scattered all across the globe, and it's for them. But clearly, I had come to the point where I'm like, it must not be for me. I've already tried, and it seems like every situation and relationship I've been in has fucking failed, you
Yeah.
know? And at that point, and I will say I kind of challenge, you know what I'm saying? I challenge, to my
Somebody.
deity,
True.
in my spiritual court. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of challenging her.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I don't believe it. You gonna have to show me. I had an attitude and everything, not gonna lie.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, you gonna have to show me because I don't believe in it. Ah, like the whole nine. I was at that altar crying for a minute. I had snot running down. My whole face, I was puffy. Like, it was tears all over the fucking altar.
Mm-hmm.
I was all wet. Like, it was bad. I was going through a real bad crying session just because it's like, it really did feel like, damn, like, this really might not be for me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? This really is not for me. And I couldn't even fathom the thought of falling in love again because I didn't want to fall in love. That shit just felt terrible falling because I felt like I had no control over that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so I'm like, I don't even want to feel it. I don't want to care about another person to that extreme again. Like, I just wanted no parts of it. You know what I'm saying? And so out the altar, I cried. I let it out. I don't even know how long I was there. But then the next day proceeded, right? The day that we met.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just minding my business. Honestly, from the point of time in which I followed her into that point, I hadn't really like had any ulterior motives or anything. I was just like, okay, cool. A person.
Mm-hmm.
A person with like something that I fuck with. I fucked with, your book, We Were Also Kings of Queens. Like, I fucked with,
Yeah.
what you were doing. You know what I'm saying? I fucked with the fact that she was a poet. I fuck with what she was doing. So that's why I follow. That's all I really thought about. I mean, I thought you were a little cute, but like it didn't really like it wasn't anything where I'm like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
do something about that. It wasn't like that. I was like, okay, she's kind of cute, let me go ahead and follow her. I fuck with what she's doing. That was really the main thing because I fuck what you were doing.
Catch it. Catch it.
And we had again like some previous, you know, conversations or reactions to each other's stories and stuff. So nothing crazy. And then she hit me up
Mm.
asking about what was it that you said
I
again?
said, how long you been in Houston?
Right. So with that, I'll let you take it from there.
Now I want y'all to understand that my plan was to like, cause I knew I wasn't in my head I wasn't ready, but the universe had a whole different plan. So I was just gonna like ask her. I didn't even expect our conversation to continue beyond what I my initial question was. I just wanted to see kind of where her head was at. You know, you know, I won't say plant seeds. I would just say like test the waters with each little question because you already know a person until you actually really have a real conversation with them. And so I asked her like, well, how long you been in Houston? She was in Houston at the time. I'm in Atlanta, and I'm just like, that what happened at that. She answered the question, and then I was trying to figure out a way to keep her talking. Because I was like, damn, like she's answered like so. She's like, she said something very like simple. I have it like I said. I was like, okay, that's cool. Whatever, whatever.
She's just trying to keep the combo going,
Calm going.
y'all.
Yeah, because I don't know. I just felt called to. I don't know. I feel like in a way it was divinely guided just because I was in a position where like this was just very random to do. I did this on a I was the day of before I hit her up. I was at a previous friend's house and then I got ready to go to, my current friend's graduation. And I wasn't thinking about this girl. I wasn't thinking about her. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't thinking about, let me hit her up later. Um It's just that her story kept popping up on my thing. You see somebody like it.
Yapping.
It got to the point where she was like one of the first people I seen.
Oh, really?
So yeah, because I was watching your stories. And it was just like, damn, like she is kind of cute. You know what I'm saying? And she got the rainbow. The rainbow could be anything though, but like,
Right.
yeah. I said, fuck it. You know what I mean? What's the harm of me in her up now? It's that picture. That picture got me. It hypnotized me. It hit.
Face
It's the
card.
eyes, man. Like the eyes is what really got me, man. Like I was like, damn, bro. Like her eyes look like pools of honey. I literally said that. Like they look like pools of honey. If you know, you know.
Mm.
But you know, the conversation started off pretty cool.
At that point in my life, I was interested in entertaining. You got to intrigue me in some kind of way. I did feel like she was intriguing me, and I'm like, okay, I'll continue to conversate with this person. Um, she's very intellectual. We're both very intellectual, like people. I'm very much like a person that's driven by the mind. You asked me insightful questions.
Yeah.
That's what stood out to me. That she was asking very insightful questions about me, and it kept getting deeper and deeper.
Like not
The
just
more
like
we talked
romantic
about,
questions. I genuinely wanted to know who she was. You know what I mean? Like how she seen certain things, and putting her in the hot seat the day after. We kept talking.
I want to say that at some point in day 2, I had went back to the altar. So went to the altar before we met, right? Quote unquote met. And then went back to the altar the day after. And I wasn't, again, thinking in my mind, this is the one. That wasn't really the mindset. I had went back to the altar to cry yet again. To cry yet again because I felt like I was being kind of taunted, you know. A part of me was like, what you bringing this person in my life for? What's up? Why are you bringing this woman here? Are you playing games with me? But is this supposed to be a good distraction? What's the purpose of this individual in my life? Just kind of questioning some things and just crying yet again because it's like I still didn't really believe that, that love was going a healthy love, and I want to really exasperate that healthy love because unhealthy love is nothing to be aspiring towards. It's something to be in. That's not the kind of love that we need to be in, y'all. But still not believing that that's something that I could attain. And yeah, just crying it out yet again. Literally the day after we started talking, because I just wasn't even looking at this like, oh yeah, this is about to turn into a whole relationship. Wasn't even the mindset, and of course, things definitely went deeper than I thought. That's I guess technically day 2. There was a little flirting. She started flirting.
No,
She started flirting.
bruh. No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
What did I say?
I can't. We just read the messages the other day because it was our anniversary the other day, and so we read through our messages. We went all back to the beginning of our messages, and you were sneaking like little things here and here.
No, but what really did it was when she said, I was like, I'm gonna put you in the hot seat, and she was like, it can't get too hot because I'm gonna throw some water to cool it off or some shit like that. And I was like, huh?
At that point, because I already picked up on the fact that she kept flirting with me, and like I was even thinking about it like in a serious way. I'm like, okay, another person I can flirt with. I was like, all right, that's another person I can get a little flirtatious with. I
Yeah.
feel like I could, you know, do a little back and forth with this one here.
I don't know. I was okay. I was over here geeked. I was like, fuck yeah, yes, yes. I was like, I was okay. So she picking up what I'm putting down. You feel me? So like, I'm like, okay. Then did get a little hot. I ain't gonna detail what we talked about, but it got hot. Well,
Day
first off,
3, things got
spicy.
yeah. It was the third day because the
It was the
first
second day. Oh no,
no,
because the second day, like I think I ended up falling asleep because I had got
that's
off work.
yeah.
Yeah.
hmm
So it wasn't the second day; it was the third day. But
The flirting started on day 2.
yeah. And then day 3, that's when I start asking like the What color panties you got on? I'm playing. I didn't ask. I did not ask that. I don't remember what
Nah,
I said, but it just
they
got
just got a little hotter.
a little.
They don't need all the details. Okay. But, day three things, they took a different turn. And
Yeah.
once day three hit, it's on this day that I had to really sit with my intuition, had to quiet down and sit with it and see what it was saying about this, situation and whether I should continue on with it and continue to be open to it. And as much as I wanted to deny my own intuition, that motherfucker was like, nah, bitch, keep, keep, keep moving forward with this. And so I did. Like, but I'm not even saying one say three. That first day we started and we just kept going from there and there. And now
Yeah.
we're here.
Yeah. I mean, I loved her mindset, and you know, I really enjoyed talking to her. You know what I mean? Like she would stay with me when I'd be working late overnight, and we'd be talking for hours and hours. And keep in mind, like she was working too, so it was just like she'll stay with me after she'll get off work, and we'll just be talking, like, and talking about some real shit though. Like it wasn't just like, oh, let me see your coochie. We was talking about real life shit, like, whether it's like people, people being oppressed, and there's a whole bunch of various topics, and it's just like, damn, like I love the way this woman think, you feel me? And yeah, we here now, you know what I'm saying?
Fast forward.
Fast forward, we'll probably get more into details about how we went from just talking to being in a relationship, because that's one hell of a story. That story is more juicy than this one.
Oh,
So if you want to hear that story, you're gonna have to subscribe to the channel. Make sure you make this one of your, 10 podcasts or whatever the fuck you do it. And because that story that's the one hell of a story. But we probably won't tell that story. It won't be no time soon. It'll probably be like our year anniversary of being together. Our anniversary that we just celebrated was the year of us meeting. Okay, so just to just to clear. But yeah, man, you know what I'm saying? This is my baby. You know what I'm saying?
it really does go down in the DMs.
I really do.
But it's I want to notate too. I want to like make clear like for me, I will say like I've always been that kind of person where it's like I always wanted to have like I guess you could say like a traditional way of like meeting somebody
I mean it
like
in person.
like you meet in person like I don't know
Yeah.
you sitting at the park or some shit and they walk up to you and like it springs from there like I've always been one of those
Me too.
people. I wouldn't say I'm really much of like a hopeless romantic.
I am.
She is. But more so, I just like that more traditional way of meeting and getting to know a person.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the way I always envision it. And I mean, every, relationship and situation, not every situation, but I'll say relationship I had been in prior to was like a more natural way of meeting.
Yeah.
So I didn't envision that, it would go down like this. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like this wasn't how I was trying to.
And let me say, I was previously in a long distance relationship, so I was like, hell no, like it's no way that this will go further than just a little bit of flirting. You know what I mean? I didn't expect to like really like catch feelings for her, and want to kind of like see where things go. I didn't expect that, but it happened. Um,
I was also the same exact mindset when it came to long distance relationships because I had previously been in a long distance relationship as well as like situationships. So I want to know parts of it as well.
right, and yeah, I mean, I don't want to tell the story quite
Right,
yet
right.
about how everything followed after that. We didn't get together right immediately, so we didn't do the typical lesbian thing of getting together right
Hmm.
away. We took our time for the most
Hmm.
part.
I feel like some people might think it was fast, but like we
Well,
we took our time.
we
Like
took
we
our
made
time.
sure that we were ready and
But we'll
everything.
we'll get into that when the episode come out, because we're gonna really thoroughly tell that story, because that's gonna be a year of how everything happened. We'll
Right.
be in a new year by then, so like, yeah. Um, but yeah, man, this is the first episode of Playful Parlay. We did it. Yeah. Make sure you go down below, and subscribe if you're on YouTube. Um, and stay tuned for more episodes. We're very excited to see what's to come. As y'all can see, we're sharing a mic. We'll probably have 2 different mics come next episode.
We will.
Yeah, because we're gonna set it up differently. But like, this is just we gotta start somewhere, and we will grow into something bigger, and we're gonna get into more intricate topics. But yeah. Anything you want to say? Yeah, okay. Goddamn. Guess it. All right. Anything you want to say?
I also want to notate the fact I've always been firm like believer in like fuck the dating apps.
Hell yeah, like
because that shit is a cesspool.
Yeah.
I've never even had one, but god
Tinder,
damn.
Bumble, all that bullshit.
The stories I've heard, I'm like,
I would never do it.
It's a hookup app. They're all hookup apps now because humans ruin everything.
Yeah. There's like creeps on them motherfuckers.
But social media, boy. Social media.
It's a tool.
It's a tool.
If you use it right. Yeah, I mean, you can meet some amazing people.
Mm-hmm. Not always. Sometimes it's creepy.
Sometimes it's creepy motherfuckers.
Be careful on the internet.
Yeah, be careful on the internet.
But yeah.
Thank you for joining us for the very first episode. We'll get a bit more like whatever, you know what I mean? We just gonna go with the flow. Fuck it. We chilling on this motherfucker. But yeah. How we wanna go out? Say bye. Adios.
Maybe we'll have an outro.
We're figuring it out as we go.
Yeah.
Bye, y'all.